Before the sun came up, a missile hit a hospital. Hours earlier, fighter jets tore through Iranian skies. Both sides claim self-defense. But this doesn't feel like defense anymore. On June 18, 2025, Israel launched one of the boldest preemptive attacks in its history, a multi-phase operation combining stealth drones, jet strikes, and cyber disruption. The targets: Iran's nuclear enrichment sites, missile depots, and military command centers. By morning, Iran responded with firepower of its own. Ballistic missiles and drones rained down on Israeli cities. Sirens screamed, shelters filled, and one missile didn't just rattle nerves. It hit Soroka Medical Center. What started as a long-standing shadow war is now raging in the open, and the world's watching, asking, was this a last resort strike or a calculated provocation? In this video, we unpack the timeline, the politics, the damage, and the deep history behind one of the most dangerous moments in the modern Middle East. To understand the latest attacks, you have to go back, not months, but decades. Israel and Iran weren't always enemies. In fact, before 1979, they had trade agreements, military cooperation, and mutual enemies. But everything changed after the Iranian Revolution. Ayatollah Khomeini took power. He declared Israel an illegitimate state. Iran became a theocracy, and its new foreign policy had one clear line: support any movement that opposed Israel, politically, militarily, ideologically. From that point on, Iran backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. They armed Hamas in Gaza. And Israel? It started hitting back. But quietly, not with declarations, with silence and sabotage. In 2010, the Stuxnet virus hit Iranian nuclear facilities. It wasn't confirmed, but all fingers pointed to Israel and the US. Iran vowed revenge, not in headlines but in planning rooms. Since then, dozens of Iranian nuclear scientists have mysteriously died. Warehouses have exploded. Generals have been targeted. Some were hit by drones, others by bombs under their cars. And every time Iran blamed Israel, Israel neither confirmed nor denied, but the pattern spoke for itself. This wasn't just tension anymore. It became what analysts called a shadow war. So why is everyone talking about this again right now? Because in April 2024, everything went public and loud. It began with a deadly Israeli airstrike on the Iranian consulate in Syria. Not just a military base, a diplomatic site. Several Iranian commanders were killed, including members of the Quds Force. Iran called it a red line. They promised a response, and a few days later, they delivered. In a stunning escalation, Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel, directly from its own soil. This wasn't through proxies. This was head-on. Israel's Iron Dome and allies like the US and UK shot down most of them. But it marked the first time Iran had attacked Israel directly. Not through Hezbollah, not through Hamas, but itself. For the region, it was a thunderclap. For the world, it was a potential flashpoint. So what did Israel do? Within days, Israeli jets flew into Iranian airspace and struck near Isfahan, a key site in Iran's nuclear program. Was it a warning? A message? A trial run? No one officially took credit. Iran played it down, saying minor damage. But satellite images told a different story. Air defense systems were triggered. Panic spread on social media. And for a moment, it felt like this could become a full-scale war. But then, silence. No immediate retaliation. No declaration of war. Just two exhausted giants, watching each other across the desert. So, why did they pull back? Some say the US warned both sides to calm down. Others believe neither side wants a full war. Just leverage. But here's the twist. They're not backing down. They're just choosing a different kind of battlefield. Cyber attacks, drone strikes, and psychological warfare. And while the missiles might have paused, the shadow war is still raging. Quietly, dangerously, and globally. Because behind the airstrikes and speeches, there's something deeper at play. Regional ambitions, global powers, and political survival. And to understand what happens next, you have to zoom out. This isn't just about Iran and Israel anymore. It's a chessboard. And other pieces are moving. Let's start with Saudi Arabia. For decades, Iran and Saudi Arabia were arch rivals. Politically, religiously, strategically, Iran is Shia Muslim. Saudi is Sunni. They've backed opposite sides in nearly every Middle Eastern conflict. Yemen, Syria, Iraq. Even when not fighting directly, they were pulling strings from behind the curtain. But something changed in 2023. China brokered a surprise peace deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Suddenly, their diplomats were shaking hands. Trade reopened. Tensions cooled. But now, with Iran launching missiles at Israel, Saudi Arabia is stuck. Do they condemn Iran and risk collapsing the new peace, or stay silent and look weak to the West? So far, they're choosing silence. But make no mistake, they're watching closely, carefully, because the next escalation might land right next door. Now enter the real giants, the United States and Russia. America is Israel's closest ally. Billions in aid, military cooperation. When Iran launched those missiles, The US helped intercept them. Their jets, satellites, and radar systems all kicked into gear. But here's the twist. The US doesn't want a war either. Not in an election year. Not with Ukraine still burning. Not with oil prices threatening to spike. So what did Washington do? They made calls. A lot of them. Biden personally spoke to Netanyahu. Diplomats contacted Tehran through Switzerland and Oman. The message was simple. Hit back if you must, but don't break the region. On the other side, there's Russia. They've grown closer to Iran, selling drones, sharing intel. Iran supplies drones for Ukraine's war. Russia lets Iran keep operations active in Syria. It's a quiet alliance, but it's real. If Israel pushes too hard, Russia might push back. Not with troops, but with influence. And suddenly, this isn't a two-player game anymore. Zoom in closer, and you'll find something even more dangerous. Internal politics. Let's start with Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister. He's been fighting political battles at home, a corruption trial, massive protests, a controversial judicial overhaul. For months, his popularity has dropped, but nothing unites a country like a foreign threat. Some analysts say the Iran strike came at a convenient time, not just strategic, but political. And in Iran, the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is 85 and reportedly in poor health. His regime faces growing discontent, protests after Mahsa Amini's death, a collapsing economy, sanctions squeezing daily life. So when Israel bombed their consulate, retaliation wasn't just about honor. It was about proving the regime still had teeth, even if the bite was risky. So here's the dangerous equation. Two leaders under pressure, with missiles at their fingertips, both needing to look strong, both needing a win, and neither willing to blink first. So where does this all go? Scenario 1. Ceasefire in all but name. No more direct strikes. Just cold stares, cyber attacks, and proxy moves. Both sides claim victory. The world breathes a little easier. Scenario 2. Slow-burning proxy war. Iran activates Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel hits back in Syria or Gaza. The conflict spreads without ever being officially declared. Scenario 3. Total breakdown. A misfire. A civilian target hit. A nuclear facility damaged. Suddenly, the world isn't watching from the sidelines. It's in it. Which one is more likely? Right now, we're somewhere between scenario 1 and 2. The fire is smoldering, not out. So here's the big picture. Two nations with history, ideology, and blood between them. Global powers circling like chess pieces, leaders who can't afford to look weak, and a region that's held together by fragile deals and silent threats. Iran calls it resistance. Israel calls it defense. And the rest of us? We're watching a story that's been decades in the making and still writing itself. So, who's right? That depends on which history book you believe. But one thing is clear. The next chapter hasn't been written yet. Let us know in the comments. Was this all inevitable? Or could it have been stopped? Like the video if you learned something. Subscribe for more deep dives like this, the stuff most channels don't show you.